Hello, everyone, and welcome to Battle of the Beast. God, I can't get the intro right. Okay, I'm going to try and get it right at some point. Welcome to Battle of the Beast Transformation Takedown, episode number 3. Today, I have two more beasts fighting out for a spot in round 2, and both of these beasts are on different ends of what I think about them. Whilst both of them didn't make it to my top 100 ranking, which I've done on Christmas Day last year, what I will say is, though, I do like one a lot more than I like the other. But let's introduce them so we know who we're talking about. So, representing Series 9, the Warlock Staff, the first beast to participate in this tournament from Series 9, we have Ursus the Clawed Roar versus a first-time tournament goer from Series 30, already witnessing a tournament where one of his comrades took part in that tournament and died very violently. Hoping to not join that comrade, he's going to be fighting against Ursus to try and move on to round 2. And hopefully he might see his comrade there, but it depends who he's going against. From Series 30, the shapeshifters, not four masters, we have Hyrix the Rock Smasher. So, yeah, interesting matchup, I guess. Not really overly fond of both of these beasts, but they do have some things going for them. So let's get into the stats so we can learn more about these beasts, which are kind of forgettable. Ursus the Clawed Roar. Like the other beasts of Seraph, Ursus was not always so fearsome and brutal. He was once a gentle bear who protected the inhabitants of the forest, but he was turned evil by Malvel's cruel magic. This beast terrifies his enemies with his deafening roar, dagger-like teeth, and colossal claws. Age 172, power 271, magic level 179, fright factor 90, and size 300. Oh, powers and abilities: natural weaponry, enhanced strength, enhanced durability. Weaknesses: music soothing, and reversion. Hyrix the Rock Smasher does not actually have a bio at all in the Holy Bible, so I can't really talk much regarding Hyrix, but abilities include enhanced durability, enhanced strength, and vine coils from hands, as well as natural weaponry with the horns. Okay, so with that very relatively short stats department out of the way, with Hyrix barely having any stats, let's get into the battle of Ursus versus Hyrix. This battlefield will be a forest arena because no reason really. I just thought it would be a nice choice. So yeah, forest arena. So with that, let's get into the battle. As the beast exits from their chambers, Ursus bounds out into the forest and just hides in the shadows of the forest. As Hyrix makes his way out, ready to just scour the entire arena, trying to find his opponent. Seeing that there's a lot of trees in the way, obscuring his vision, he engages a stampede-like mode, which is an additional ability which I forgot to mention, and charges into the trees, knocking them down and snapping them like they're twigs. As most of the trees are cleared, light is exposed in the forest, and he instantly sees Ursus. Without giving too much away, though, he acts like he can't see Ursus. But when Ursus thinks he's still well hidden, Hyrix lifts up his hand and shoots a vine coil to his side directly towards Ursus, wrapping the vine around Ursus's neck. Hyrix pulls the vine, pulling Ursus into the tree that he was hiding behind, pulling him into the open. Ursus, using his claws, slashes through the vine and gets back up and charges towards Hyrix and rears up on his hind legs, ready to bring his whole weight down on top of him. Hyrix, using his fists, punches Ursus in the stomach and then uppercuts Ursus, knocking him back. And as Ursus gets himself back up, he's greeted by multiple vines being shot from Hyrix's hands, wrapping around Ursus's body, his claws, and his muzzle as well, trying to just apprehend this beast. With the vines not actually wrapped around the claws, not connected to anything else, Ursus has free rein to move it, in which he instantly slashes through the vines around his claws and on his stomach as well. He's able to get back up, as well as using one claw to slice through the vines around his muzzle, in which he roars in anger at Hyrix. Hyrix, completely unfazed by this, charges up towards Ursus as Ursus charges up towards Hyrix. Hyrix bows his head down and, using his horns, lifts it up, knocking Ursus's head backwards. The horns penetrate Ursus's flesh underneath his chin, in which Ursus roars in pain and slashes right at Hyrix's chest, knocking Hyrix back. As Hyrix is getting up a bit winded from being knocked back from the very strong attack, he sees Ursus making his way towards him. Hyrix, wasting no time, shoots vines from his hands, wrapping around Ursus' claws, connecting each vine together, and pulls it, not pulling Ursus off balance. As he continues to shoot vines around Ursus' claws, he then shoots vines around Ursus' muzzle, keeping his mouth shut, and then shoots another vine around his neck. Multiple vines around his neck, in which he then ties them up to nearby trees, and then keeping Ursus trapped, tying him to multiple trees from vines around his neck. As the vines around his muzzle are starting to weaken from Ursus trying to open his mouth, and Ursus trying to pull his claws away from each other, the vines around his claws are starting to weaken. Hyrix, not wasting any time, comes up to Ursus' claws and grabs onto one of Ursus' giant claws and snaps the wrist. Makes his way to the other one and snaps that wrist. As Ursus roars in pain, he opens his mouth wide enough to snap the vines completely. Ursus goes to bite down on Hyrix and bites down on one of Hyrix's wrists. Hyrix roars in pain and grabs onto Ursus' head, well, the top of Ursus' muzzle, pulls his arm down that's caught in Ursus' mouth and pulls Ursus' muzzle up so Hyrix can get his wrist free. He then grabs onto Ursus' head and pulls it towards him as he steps back, pulling Ursus towards him. Ursus' eyes widen when he realizes what Hyrix is doing. Ursus is now gasping for breath as he's being strangled by the vines around his neck, tightening up around him. Ursus tries to lift up his claws, but with the broken wrist, he's not doing much damage at all. And Hyrix, still having a firm grip on Ursus' head, just smiles at him and says one thing. Just one. That's all he needs. Well, 2 words. And those words are game over, in which he instantly snaps Ursus' neck and Ursus' body slumps down to the ground, pulling the trees down with him. As Hyrix sees the body of Ursus just lying there, he lifts up both his fists and brings them down right on Ursus' head, shattering Ursus' skull. As Hyrix makes his way back to his chamber, satisfied with this victory. So that Ursus has lost, Hyrix has won. If you think Ursus should won, please comment below. I think that how my worst final and Hyrix moving on to the next round. So, what gave Hyrix the victory here? This matchup, I think, was relatively even. What gave Hyrix the advantage here, though, I think comes down to his vine coils from his hands, but also his enhanced strength, as well as being able to match Ursus' speed and durability and strength. It ultimately came down to the additional ability that Hyrix has, as well as his horns being an additional help there. So, whilst I could see Ursus winning, I just see Hyrix winning more. And that is pretty much all I can really say about that fight. I think it was an alright fight. Not overly exciting, but an alright one. We're in the mediocre portion of matchups. We're going to be going to the more interesting ones soon. But yeah, at the moment, Hyrix vs Ursus was just an alright matchup. And yeah. With that, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below. I'll see you next time.